Hello, I'm Natasha. I'm really happy to have you here with me today. My intention for this conversation is to help bring awareness to our own physical body and sensations that we feel that will guide us to whether or not we're feeling regulated or unregulated, and I'm going to explain what that means. I've been posting videos for about the last 5 months now, so I recommend that you go back and have a look at those videos. I've also got a sustainable playlist just to make it easy. Please do like the videos if you enjoy the conversations. Share with any friends, family or your network to help spread the conversation, spread the word. And of course, please subscribe to the channel so that we stay connected. The reason this is important to know about ourselves is because we're going to experience life feeling regulated and dysregulated. And the minute we can start to feel those physical symptoms that are bringing our attention to that change, we can implement sustainable self-care, easy, quick practices that will bring us back into a place of regulation. Now, of course, we're going to experience sensations in the body differently, but I would like to invite you just to feel into what's true for you, and I will do my best to give examples that are relatable. So the first thing, and again, I would invite you to have a pen and paper, so pause the video if you need to just go get that. But write down, how do you feel in the body when you feel calm and grounded? And then write down, how do I feel in the body when I feel anxious, angry, irritated? Apply any words that resonate with you. I'm then going to ask the question, no judgment here from yourself to yourself. Do you know the difference between when you feel calm and grounded or centered versus dysregulated? Do you know how that feels different in your body? If yes, great. If no, I'll invite you to use that as your practice for this week. And every day, I want you to keep a small journal and pencil with you and just jot down the different physical sensations throughout your day. So when you're feeling grounded, centered, calm, and when you're feeling irritated or angry, anxious. And that will help bring awareness to those different sensations in your body. Okay, stay with me. So, nervous system regulation is important for our well-being, health, and decision making. I've noticed I can't make decisions when I'm not feeling regulated, when I'm not feeling calm and grounded and centered. So, and I personally don't think it's a good idea to make certainly important decisions when we're not feeling regulated. To put it into practical terms, we need to build resilience between states, because as a human, we're always going to move between states. That's part of our experience. But how we move between states and having an understanding of why we're moving between regulated and dysregulated is really empowering. So we need both. But we don't want to spend all of our time in dysregulation, for example. And like I said earlier, we're all going to experience these slightly differently, depending on our experiences and perceptions, thoughts, beliefs. So our sympathetic nervous system, this is our flight, fight, and freeze response. And it's really important for keeping us safe. It's a protection mechanism. But we don't want to spend all of our time here. And then we've got our parasympathetic system, which is our rest and digest, which is a much more grounded, I keep using the same words, but grounded, centered place to be, a place that's easy to make decisions from because we're clear-headed. When we're in a sympathetic response, the idea is potentially to get us out of a situation that we don't want to be in. So when we're feeling the effects, the symptoms of being in a sympathetic response, we might feel we have difficulty concentrating. We will have an increase in heart rate, and we might find that our breathing is more what I call chest breathing, shallow breathing. We might feel a bit more sweaty. And that's because we've gone into that response to get us out of something, potentially. If we move away from that acute situation and put it more in the context of our day-to-day lives, where stress, again, is a normal part of being human, but more than ever, I think people are experiencing it on a frequent basis, if that's fair to say. But also putting my hat on as a physio, and thinking about persistent pain and stress and what that looks like, it's really important to get to know our bodies and our physical sensations so that we can have a better relationship with ourselves, know if we're in a place in which we want to make decisions from, but yeah, more importantly, self-care and just feeling connected. So if we go into a persistent pain example, so we're not talking about acute, which is just after injury, but if we talk about it in terms of the theory and how it can feel, how I think of it is persistent pain. If you imagine a TV remote control with the volume or a radio dial, persistent pain is when the dial's turned up. And again, we need the ability, resilience is about our ability to flexibly move between states. But in persistent pain, it's turned up and the body becomes highly sensitive or sensitized to being in that, let's call it sympathetic state, and not coming out into the parasympathetic state. So things that are not a danger suddenly feel like a danger to the body, like even the smallest of things. And like I've spoken about in previous videos, becoming aware of our thoughts, our feelings and beliefs when we're in these states are really important. And again, that's building the resilience so that we can introduce self-soothing, self-calming activities and sustainable practices, wellbeing practices, then that can actually move us back into a regulated state. Okay, so we're about to move into some wellbeing practices. An example I would like to give in the continuation of talking about persistent pain is neck and shoulder pain, as this is a common area that people experience discomfort. And just to say, as a massive piece of reassurance, pain doesn't equal damage. Maybe write that down. Pain doesn't equal damage. Yeah, I just wanted to share that. So the emotional representation of neck and shoulder pain, grab your pen and journal and I will share the prompts with you. This is one of our practices. So I want you to, what I call free write. When you journal, it doesn't have to be particularly structured in any way. Don't worry about spelling. Just allow the process of writing. And it can be a really cathartic, healing, self-aware, self-care way of expressing sometimes what is hidden and that we're not particularly, it brings it into awareness. Some journal prompts for you. In what ways am I not expressing all of my needs? And in what ways am I not living my desires and desires of the heart? So if you're feeling tension around the shoulders and you notice that you lift up your shoulders, one, bring them down and back slightly, and just start to breathe into your belly. Some of the neck muscles actually help with lifting the ribs. So if you're shallow breathing, chest breathing, some of the muscles in the neck might get overworked and get tired, and therefore you may experience discomfort in the neck area. So belly breathing is definitely a number one tip and practice. Interestingly, tension in the neck can indicate that you are not speaking the truth of your heart and that you're not paying attention to your feelings. It could also be communicating with you that you need to put more attention into your physical body in terms of the movement and the sensations that you experience with movement, physical movement and exercise, and put less focus on your thinking mind. A mantra for you that you can say to yourself like an affirmation, and I would encourage you to do this with some neck movement, some shoulder movement. Well, any sort of movement is good with me, but I would say to yourself, I move through my day with ease and flexibility. I move through my day with ease and flexibility. And lastly, when you feel yourself starting to shift from a regulated state into an unregulated state, I invite you to take 5 to 10 belly breaths. So as you breathe in, hand on the belly just to give yourself a bit of feedback, one hand on the chest. The hand on your belly will move slightly more than the hand on your chest, ideally. And as you breathe in, belly comes out. So it's almost like a balloon. And as you breathe in, it will just naturally return. So you're going to do 5 to 10 belly breaths as one practice. Another practice you can do is take or carve in to your day 20 to 30 minutes at least in nature. Go for a walk. Notice the sounds that you can hear on your walk. For me, I love to listen to birdsong. That calms me straight away. Smell the fresh air, if there are flowers, depending on season. But if you're out in nature, you'll smell lots of fresh tree smells. And what can you see? And it's actually a really calming practice to use your peripheral vision. When we get into a sympathetic state and we're focused, this is why screens are not great, because we're just focused on one thing. When we start to move our vision, it actually calms us down. So yeah, out on the walk, have a look around and just, look at what is there. And the other thing is to touch things. So I would just use the example of go touch a tree, just put your hand on the trunk of the tree and just spend a couple of seconds, or touch a leaf, or you get the gist. Use your senses when you're out on the walk. And as we've discussed throughout the conversation, use these practices as an opportunity to tune into how your body feels in these different states. And that will really help you to deepen and connect to yourself and to be able to move flexibly and with ease as you move throughout your day. If you've enjoyed this conversation, please do like the video, subscribe so that we stay connected, share the videos with your friends, your family, your network, and in the comments section, Let me know what practices you enjoy that help you to feel grounded and connected to yourself.